Yo, what's good, my peeps? Today, the Northeast League went live, and I'm going to just show you a little build that I think will help you through everything. I'm going to make a guide tomorrow, and I'll drop some gameplay tomorrow. But yeah, this is basically what I'm using right here, a little headshot build. Shout out to my boy Wids for putting me onto the shield game with the perfect focus. And I'm basically going to show you what I think from beginning to end. And I hope you guys enjoy this content, man. Let's get it. All right, yeah, so right now you can aim down your scope, and this will buff you up to 60% weapon damage. It is additive, not multiplicative. But the thing about this build is that you could use it behind a shield, right? So as long as you zoom in and zoom out, you'll be able to keep that buff. And then once you use the shield, you'll keep that buff right there, and you don't even have to be zoomed in, right? And you're doing 60% more weapon damage, you know? It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so right here, you don't need the shield. You're still going to do tremendous damage. But with this build, if you're having issues surviving and you want to be able to compete with others, I would suggest you build it like this. All right, so first off, this is how I'm making the build. I'll show you my stats. They might not be the greatest. I'm at 52. Try to always hit that 60, and I'm at 75 crit, which don't really matter, honestly, with this build because of the amount of damage that you're going to be able to push out, right? So right here, we're going to start. I'm kind of going towards headshot. So I'm going to start with my specialist. I'm going to go from top to bottom. That way I'm not everywhere, right? The more that I make these videos, the better I'm going to get at it. And right here, we have Sharpshooter, right? 15%. It was kind of, it used to be higher, but 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksmans, which is the main reason I use this right here. And you do want to hit those headshots, right? The med kit isn't bad, and the extra armor while in cover is pretty good too. So that's about it. That's the main reason I use this. And I forgot to tell you about the scope too. That's the second reason we use it. We get a 45% headshot damage with the scope we're using off Sharpshooter. Of course, make sure you have it on. It takes off a little bit of crit hit damage, which is cool. I also modded for crit hit chance. Some of you guys asked me to see my attachments. And right here, I got 5 round, but you could put anything you want. Reload speed, stability. It's all up to you, right? I feel like the classic M1A is pretty stable, so I didn't go with stability. Almost 600k base damage. And then this is the talent that I choose, that I suggest. I don't know, it depends on you. But boomerang, right? So critical hits have a 50% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has 40% increased damage, allowing you to do like millions of damage to enemies, okay? So shout out to my boy Wids, because I learned this from him with the shield. And yeah, man, credit to anybody else that rocks this type of build. You know what I'm saying? If you're a creator, I just want to show my community the power of this build, right? So right here, we're going with headshot damage. Since we are going to be going for headshots, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have this setup like this. And then after we get our headshot damage in, but it doesn't really matter because you're still getting the headshot from Providence, right? So it's kind of like the same thing. So I would say whatever backpack you have that's better, that's personally what I would probably use myself. And if you want to go with like headshot damage over crit, you know, that's another option that you have, right? But right here, we're going with the best in slot right now until it's adjusted. 11% damage to armor. Best in slot right here. 15% damage to out of cover until it's adjusted. The yaw mask is very strong and very powerful. 21% damage to health right here, which is super good for dogs. And it absolutely destroys anything that just has health. If it doesn't have armor, it's getting absolutely ripped, bro. I'm talking about like 5 shots, maybe a little bit more, depending if you're like in a 4-man or not, right? Because the enemy's armor and everything and health goes up, right? So here we have the best part of this build, which is perfect focus. Okay, I personally don't mind glass cannon. I'm trying to get away from glass cannon. The reason I'm trying to get away is because 60% amplified damage incoming is something I personally don't like. You know, I don't like starting missions. Sometimes I have to, but I really don't like that, right? So increases total weapon damage by 6% every second you are aiming while scoped with the 8 times or higher, up to 60%, okay? So 60% weapon damage, and all you gotta have is an 8x scope. And right here, we're killing it with our digital scope from the class, giving us 45% headshot damage also. Don't forget about that. That's huge, right? That's why I said if you wanted to, you could stack headshot damage. And then I'm running Seska personally for that crit hit chance. I think this is probably one of the best end slots. But if you didn't want to run a crit hit chance and you just wanted that headshot damage, you could go with another Araldi, right? It's all preference. It's all really up to you how you run this build. But this is kind of like the template for the build. Whatever exotic you want, man, there's a lot of different exotics you could use. Personally, the Chatterbox wouldn't be bad. The Sweet Dreams to one-shot enemies. The Nemesis to one-tap enemies. The Lady Death for agility. The Eagle Bearer for damage resistance. You know, the Pestilence for damage over time. It all depends what exotic you want to use, man. I feel like most of them are pretty useful. They don't have the best uses, but you know, you kind of get the point. They're supposed to be a little bit different, and you know, I enjoy them personally. Pistol, I stay with my bread basket and my headshot damage. You know, this is gonna work very well if you are building into headshot damage with this build. But yeah, man, this thing is absolutely slaps. Right here, you can run a Crusader shield. It is honestly up to you. If you wanted to run a fire spec, you would lose a little bit of headshot damage and the scope, so you would kind of lose a lot, like 60% headshot damage. You would lose if you got off of Sharpshooter, because we're getting 15 from here and 45 from here, right? Giving us 60% headshot damage off of 2 talents. But you could run a firewall, and when you ran firewall, you would get a bonus damage for your team, you know, on the shield, instead of using Crusader. But you know, like I said, I would probably prefer Sharpshooter, but you know, some people might not have Sharpshooter leveled or just might not like Sharpshooter, you know. That's all up to you. That's all preference. But Reviver Hive is the next thing, man, especially if you're doing these challenges. Reviver Hive is really good. Reviver Hive seems to work like all the time. The things I've noticed with Reviver Hive is if you throw it and revive somebody and then you go down yourself, it's kind of bugged. So I don't know. That's one thing that I've noticed. Another thing that I've noticed is kind of obvious, but if you die in the open, you're gonna have an enemy that's shooting your hive. You know what I'm saying? Their job is to kill you, bro. And if you die in the middle of the map, you know, your hive should be shot and killed. Like, that's how I feel personally. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know in the comments. But that's about it, man. You could run a Vigilance on the backpack if you want. If not, if you're not a Vigilance fan, you can run a Versatile, man. Versatile is very situational, but also I feel like you could get more damage out of it, right, if you use it correctly. And that's it, man, for this video. I'm gonna be streaming over on Twitch. That's where you could check out the gameplay today. And tomorrow I'll drop you a video with how I did all my challenges and some gameplay too, right? So yeah, man, this is literally the beast of beasts right now. And trust me, man, try this build out, and I promise you'll like it, man. Every mission I did yesterday was super easy. We even did some raids with viewers. Super easy, super simple, no stress. You know, just a lot of fun and a lot of dead enemies, right? All right, thank you guys, though, man. I'll catch you later. Peace, baby. Let's go.